I invite you to stand and join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the vibrant city of Sugar Land. We ask for your continued blessings on our families and businesses so that they may thrive and prosper. We are thankful for our city staff who tirelessly work on behalf of our residents. We lift up our city, county, state, and nation in prayer. We seek your protection for Sugar Land and our residents. We also ask you to safeguard our first responders who serve our city with unwavering commitment. As we gather for this meeting, we seek your guidance in our thoughts and words. Grant us wisdom, discernment, courage, and compassion in our deliberations. Help us to make decisions that honor you and serve the best interest of our city and our residents. We offer these prayers with humility and gratitude. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, now I'm going to ask State Representative John Rosenthal to come down and lead us in the pledge to the nation's flag and the Texas flag. John.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. God bless Texas.
God bless Texas. Thank you, John. Now I'd ask that Pradeep Sharma, who's the Dean of the Cullen College of Engineering at UH, Zafar Tahir, who is the chair of the Cullen Gala, Dr. Jay Neal, who is the Associate Vice President of UH Sugar Land, and Tammy Warfield, who is the chair of the Cullen Executive Leadership Board. If you all could come down front with me, please. Zafar, I'm going to let you introduce it.
Thank you very much. My name is Zafar Tahir, and it's distinctly an honor. And we appreciate Mayor Zimmerman for inviting us, for hosting us. You proudly serve on our board. And today we are here to celebrate Cullen Day at Sugar Land City Hall. And to kick it off is our Dean, Dean Sharma. He will make some brief remarks, and then I will have some remarks.
Thank you, Zafar. Mayor Zimmerman and council members, thank you for recognizing the Cullen College of Engineering with this Cullen Day proclamation. It is a great honor for us to be recognized here today, especially by our own alum, Mayor Zimmerman. Ladies and gentlemen, our aspiring engineers come from very diverse backgrounds. They range from single moms who work 2 jobs, or freshmen who live in one of our dorms and are doing double majors. Our college brings education to our communities the way they need it. Our graduates include one of the first few pioneer women who is an astronaut and a professor and spent a record time in the International Space Station. We have many graduates who have launched their own businesses or become CEOs of major companies. And some have gone on to become mayors of wonderful cities.
There are not too many of us to sign up for this.
That is true. We are not considered an elite institute like Harvard University, but we offer elite education for prices that our community can afford. We are local, but we offer world-class education with global connections and are truly Houston's College of Engineering. And we take extreme pride in that. Our university has targeted Sugar Land for significant future investments. And we are already investing heavily in Sugar Land. We have a multi-building campus at US Sugar Land. Dr. Jay Neal is running that show there. And the newest edition is coming up right now, and it will be scheduled to open in the fall of 2025. By next year, US Sugar Land will be a major instructional site for our college, which will educate 4,000 students. in 10 undergraduate BS degrees in technology and many master's programs that include biotechnology, mechanical engineering technology, information systems, cybersecurity, and many more. Last year, we were named a best graduate school for engineering by the US News and World Report. And we are well on our way to become a top 50 graduate school. Our college includes 17 members of the National Academy of Engineering. These are among the 2,000 of the world's most accomplished engineers who are providing innovative solutions to complex issues in engineering, science, and medicine. We recently competitively won a world-class research center, such as from Department of Defense, $64 million for developing new technologies for the Army. Centers funded by the Welch Foundations for Sustainable Materials, and a NASA center to revitalize research in space. We also have much to do, and that's why we are here. We are relatively small, and we cannot be everything to everyone. But in our areas of strength, we will be, and we like to be, a destination college for engineering and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, last month we kicked off our branding campaign that culminates with our inaugural gala this coming October. And Zafar will say a few words in a minute. I'm confident that with your support, the Cullen brand will be associated with the same global brand as Greater Houston. Thank you for your support, and go Cougs.
Thank you, Dean Sharma. The reason we are here is because we want to make sure that Cullen is known throughout the region, not just Houston. Our region is from Beaumont to Sealy, I call it, from Conroe to Galveston. We want to make sure that Cullen College of Engineering is the college for the entire region. We have a vast and growing footprint in Sugar Land, but we want to make sure that all of the elected officials, all of the business leaders, community leaders adopt this college as their college. Even if you went to A&M, if you're an Aggie, it's fine. You can still adopt. You can still adopt Cullen College of Engineering, and please. Yes, I'm sure. We are the leaders. You know, Houston is the leader. University of Houston leads. It is important that we all take pride in our colleges. It's important that we have branded colleges that attract businesses from all over the world, not just the U.S. And that's why our board, and Mayor, you have been serving for a long time. You allowed individuals like me. I went to College of Engineering, graduate of 1984. I wanted to make sure that I do my part. You know, I'm not teaching at the college. I'm not associated in any way with the college. I have no conflict of interest. But it's important for me that this college is recognized. And I appreciate City Council for really allowing us to come here and tell you about our college and tell you what we can do for Sugar Land, for Fort Bend County. And this is a people's place. You know, I see people here who are even protesting. So this is enormous credit to City of Sugar Land that you have created a public place where we can come and we can tell you what you are doing. I do want to recognize some elected officials, if you allow me, who are here for Cullen Day. My good friend, DA from Fort Bend County, Brian Middleton is here. Brian, thank you. Commissioner with Fort Bend County, Andy Myers is here. Thank you. And our board member, who is also an engineer. There are actually only 2 state reps with engineering degrees, and one of them is Dennis Paul, who is out of country. He's on our board. And the person who is not on our board, but is member of our honorary gala committee, State Rep John Rosenthal. John, please. And a personal privilege, and it's a huge honor for me, Chris Hollins, who is the controller, was supposed to be here. He is not here, but he sent his assistant controller and my son, Imad Tahir, who is here. Thank you. Commissioner Ramsey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you very much. Any other elected officials that I may have missed? But please come and join our gala. Please let your friends know. This is your college. This is the college that is important for innovation, for technology, for engineering, for new technologies that our region needs. we need this thing for job creation for everyone. And this region cannot move forward without these branded colleges. So that's all we have. Would you like to say something, please? Thank you.
Tom, thanks for coming out. Good to see you. At this time, I also want to recognize Brian Middleton's wife, Coretta, is here. Coretta, if you'd please stand. And then if I could get, I know there's a large group of you here from the University of Houston. If I could get you to come down front. Commissioner Myers has a proclamation. Andy, I'm going to ask that you come up and present that. I'm going to present one from the city of Sugar Land, and then we'll take a photo. So if I get everybody from the University of Houston down, Tom, please. And the board members, right.
Okay, thank you. I am not going to read this whole proclamation because we have a lot of time.
You might as well read yours.
If you insist, whereas Fort Bend County is among the fastest growing and most diverse counties in the United States and is home to one of the most highly educated population in the United States, with 49% of residents 25 and older holding an bachelor's degree or higher compared to the national average of 35%. Whereas Fort Bend County plays a crucial role in the Houston regional status as a global hub for engineering, technology, and energy, and partners with academic leaders like the University of Houston and the Cullen College of Engineering, which offer accessible, research-based education at the University of Houston Sugar Land campus. And whereas the Cullen College of Engineering serves the greater Houston region and our nation by educating engineers to solve complex technical challenges, advance knowledge through pioneering research, facilitate the transfer of new technologies to industries, and benefit a broad range of stakeholders and communities. And whereas Fort Bend County commends the Cullen College of Engineering and its programs for supporting engineering, technology, and engineering professionals, and for advancing our region's innovative ecosystem by developing the next generation of leaders and technical experts. And I'd like to add that my two daughters are graduates of University of Houston, so a lot of my money went to University of Houston in the past year. So with that, I'd like to present this proclamation to whoever wants to accept it. Here we go.
We've got one more proclamation. From the city of Sugar Land, Cullen College of Engineering Day, July 18th, 2024. We had a little hiccup with Hurricane Beryl came through and kind of ruined our celebration on the 18th, so we're doing a little bit late. Whereas the Cullen College of Engineering at the University of Houston and the University of Houston Sugar Land offer top-tier affordable education focused on research and real-world applications, leveraging the city's diverse and dynamic business community. And whereas by engaging with the Houston business community, the Cullen College of Engineering prepares a diverse student population for successful careers in Sugar Land and beyond. The college sparks innovation and equips industry leaders with comprehensive engineering expertise, fostering critical thinking, teamwork, and advanced computing skills. And whereas emphasizing the need for future leaders to advance organizations and improve society, the college embraces the motto, engineered for what's next. Students within the technology division at the Cullen College of Engineering engage in active discovery and collaborate in teams on real-world projects, gaining invaluable hands-on experience that bridge theory with practical applications. Given by my hand on this day. Congratulations, and thank all of you for your service. I recognize a lot of the graduates here. I was 83, the class of 83, so a little bit before you, 1 year before. just for fun, how many Aggies do we have in the room? I know I got Tom.
Don't be shy.
And I know Goodrum back here. So how many UH grads? Oh, there we go. We're catching up. We ain't gotten there yet, Mike, but we're getting there. And now if we could, we get a picture, everybody. If we could get 2 rows, ladies in front, guys behind. Don't know, there's a reception in the Kane Room just outside to your right. That'll be hosted by the University of Houston, Cullen College of Engineering. So thank y'all for that too. Our second recognition is the City of Sugar Land What Works Cities Silver Certified. And to help me with this, I'm going to ask Kylie Jackson. Kylie, if you'd come down. She's the Director of Data and Innovation. I'd ask that Rachel Owens, Assistant Data and Innovation Director. Tammy Korb, Data and Performance Strategist. Lauren Lathan, Data and Performance Strategist. And Alpa Patel, Data and Performance Strategist. And Kylie, I'm going to let you introduce the topic for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for having us today. What Works Cities is part of Bloomberg Philanthropies. It's a certification program for local governments throughout North America and Latin America. It started in 2017. To this date, 83 cities throughout the U.S., North America, and Latin America have gotten certified through this program. And this program is meant to serve as a best practice in transparency and data-driven governance. It provides a framework to follow to become more data-driven in how we operate day-to-day, including different categories such as data management, performance management, data-driven finance, open data, and results-driven contracting. So we started this project in March of 2023 with this core team here leading it, which was a big step forward for the city, putting these resources towards it. We set forward with the goal of getting certified by the end of December 2024, and we were actually able to achieve that certification by June of 2024 this year. So I wanted to recognize this team for all of the work that they've put in. Also, our city manager, Mike, for trusting us with the ability to go forward and do this and take this on. Our Assistant City Manager, Scott Butler, our Executive Director, Don Steff, and then we've also had a team of people from every department throughout the city that have been really integral to making this happen. We have a data governance committee made up of some directors and executive team members that have played a really pivotal role in this, as well as data stewards in each and every department throughout the city.
And we've got, I guess we've got a certificate that recognizes you all's contribution. On June 17th, just like you said, Kylie, 2024, we proudly announced that Sugar Land achieved silver certification from Results for America. This recognition places Sugar Land among an elite group of 83 cities across North America and Latin America that have earned the What Works City certification. The goal of the Department of Data and Innovation is to enhance the organization's performance and efficiency while exploring creative solutions that benefit the entire organization and our residents. By integrating new ideas into processes and infrastructure, they use data to make informed decisions, deliver efficient and effective services, and empower employees to leverage data and develop innovative ideas that address challenging or pressing issues impacting both city employees and our residents. The What Works City certification honors local governments for their outstanding use of data in shaping policy decisions, distributing funds, enhancing services equitably, assessing program effectiveness, and involving residents. Kylie, for you and your team, congratulations and thank you. Council members, if you come down for a picture, please. Meredith. We're going to move on now to the public comment portion. Anybody that desires to speak on an action item on the agenda is invited to come forward. You'll need a name and an address. Ashley, do we have anybody signed up?
No, sir, we do not.
We're going to go ahead and call the audience. We're going to call it one time. Anybody that would like to speak. We're going to move on to item number 3. Consent agenda. All the items on the consent agenda are going to be taken under one motion unless the council member wants to pull an item. If they pull an item, we'll take that separate with a brief presentation from staff. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Watley, second by McCutcheon. It's going to have to be a hand vote tonight. Those technical difficulties. All in favor say right hand. Got it, and it passes 7-0. Thank you, council members. Item number 4, public hearings. 4A, receive and hear all persons desiring to be heard on the proposed fiscal year 2025 budget. And we've got, and following the public hearing, we'll have a consideration and action on the same item. We have Ms. Lauren Fair, our interim director of budget. Lauren.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sorry. All right, so we're here tonight for the public hearing on FY25's proposed budget. This is part of the state requirements for municipal budgets to hold public hearing. There's also some statutory requirements around timings in terms of when you file your budget, when you publish your public hearing notice, and that the notice must include a statement on the proposed property taxes. So we touched on this a little bit during our council budget workshops, but this year we focused the budget in as an investment in priorities and services that will continue to provide high value to our community, including public safety, our police, fire, dispatch, our redevelopment initiative, looking at our ability to adapt and respond to market shifts, our database decision-making with our What Works Cities that we just saw to ensure we're being innovative and efficient, and then maintaining our championship workforce, so ensuring our employees can have a life better than they can imagine to continue delivering services to the community. So this year, there were some key revenue assumptions for FY25 following our financial management policy statement of budgeting recurring sales tax revenues. We discussed at last week's budget workshop on property tax, the 2024 proposed tax rate, keeping the homestead exemption at 15%, the tax rate to fund the remaining 2019 GEO bond projects, the utilities and residential solid waste rates this year, also scheduled for discussion further at this week's budget workshop meeting. So the budget that was filed this year on July 30th included a total of $447 million for our revenues and $453 million for our expenditures. As you can see, for both revenues and expenditures, the general fund makes up just over about a fourth of those totals. And capital projects this year in the proposed budget total to $140 million. You can see some of the key projects just on this graph here in 25 CIP include wastewater and drainage projects, accounting for over half. Looking at the south of the Brazos wastewater, surface water treatment plants for the new developments on 2759 down there, as well as the Brazos River erosion drainage project. There's some major water rehab projects, as well as parks improvements to Eldridge and Ganaway Lakes and our Sugarland trails. So this slide is the impact to the average tax bill. We did, again, talk about this last week at the property tax budget workshop. We'll also, the next item on the agenda for the record vote on the tax rate will also go into this a little more detail, but the budget does include the nominal increase to, again, fund the remainder of the 2019 GEO bond projects for the new tax rate, resulting in what you see here for the increased average residential tax bill. And on the utilities and solid waste rates, again, looking at what the residential user rate would be, increase on the water, wastewater, as well as solid waste to fund the operations and capital costs for both of those. $3 roughly per month increase on the water, wastewater, and about $1 on the solid waste, which would go into effect on January 1st of 2025. So wrap up in some of the next few slides and take our action, but we've done 2 budget workshops to date, August 8th on the general fund, August 15th last week on property tax, capital projects, and our debt service fund. This week on Thursday, we will go into workshop the enterprise funds and compensation and benefits. And then we will, September 3rd, come back to the council for another public hearing on the 2 PID assessments for the Enclave at River Park and the Park at Eldridge, as well as our fees ordinance. Then some additional meetings in September. We'll have the special council meeting on September 10th to hold the public hearing on the proposed tax rate. And then wrapping everything up for FY25 on September 17th to adopt the budget, 5-year CIP, compensation plan, the tax rate, ratify the tax revenues, and have our second readings on the FID and PID assessment ordinance. So tonight's action is to hold the public hearing, and then upon conclusion of the public hearing, council vote to place the item on our September 17th agenda for consideration of this year's budget. And that's all we have.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to open the public hearing on this issue, which is the proposed fiscal year 2025 budget for the city of Sugar Land. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this topic? Second call. Hearing none, we're going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to consideration of and action on setting a date for deliberation and adoption of the fiscal year 2025 budget. And I'll go ahead and make the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by Kermali. Hand vote?
Mayor, please state the date for the record.
Okay.
September 17th, 5 p.m. at City Hall.
September 17th at 5 p.m. Thank you. Any comments? William?
Mayor, even though they're very slight utility increases, I did have a quick question about the water increase because I'm hearing all this recent chatter about our water bill's up, our water bill's up. How will this water rate increase affect a monthly water bill or utility bill? On average, I'm using 5,000 gallons myself. How does that affect me or anyone similar?
The average is $3, I believe, that we had on here per month was what we had found was our number. Yeah.
Follow up, Mayor?
Follow up.
And so what you're telling me is, and just so anyone watching and listening, this is based on a monthly increase, not on a gallon, not on a, this is flat, generally speaking, on an average.
Yes, but we can also follow up on Thursday on that because we are having a more detailed discussion at the workshop on Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? We've got a motion by myself. We've got a second by Kermali. Raise your right hand, all in favor. And we did pass a 7-0. Item number 5, tax record vote. 5A, consideration of an action on setting the City of Sugar Land proposed 2024 tax rate, establishing a public hearing and directing staff to publish the notice of proposed 2024 tax rate. We have Ms. Jennifer Brown, our Director of Special Projects.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. All right, so this is the first step in moving towards setting the tax rate for 2024. So a brief overview of property tax. This is one of the most important revenue sources we have as a city. It supports our general fund, which is our main operating fund of the budget, as well as our debt service fund, going toward repaying our debt obligations as these funds are pledged toward that repayment. This is one of the few revenue streams that the city has limited control over. While you can't control the valuations, you can control the tax rate within some limitations put on us by the state. So it funds our general operations, which includes our public safety, police, fire, dispatch, public works, parks, streets, basically a lot of the general operations of the city. For our general CIP debt service, this is supporting repayment of the debt, the bonds that we've issued for our drainage projects, our major street reconstruction, public safety equipment improvements, and our facilities. So in 2019, Senate Bill 2 was passed by the state legislature, and it impacts the terminology, calculations, and deadlines and processes that we have to follow in setting our local property tax rate. So I'm going to use a couple of terms in the slides to come. The first is the no new revenue tax rate. This is the rate that generates the same revenue as the previous year with some adjustments for new value, prior year settled lawsuits, and pending litigation with the CAD. And the voter approval rate is the rate that allows for a 3.5% increase only on the maintenance and operations component of the tax revenue. And that is a 3.5% increase over the no new revenue rate. So with that 3.5%, if we don't go fully to the 3.5%, we do get an allowance for unused increment that we can carry over for 3 years. And we do have some carryover from prior years that would allow us in any 1 year, if you have unused increment from prior years, you could go over the 3.5% in any 1 year. If you do go over the 3.5% or whatever your unused increment number is, there is a mandatory election that must be called by August 15th in November. You have to adopt the budget and the tax rate prior to doing so. So it basically backs everything up about 6 weeks from when we would normally do it. There are a couple of exceptions to the 3.5%, and that would be really only in the case of a disaster declaration. You end up getting penalized the next year if you go over the 3.5%, and you can go up to 8%. So there are 3 entities that really have responsibility in this process. The first is the Fort Bend Central Appraisal District. It appraises and certifies all the property values throughout Fort Bend County. This is charged to them by state law. We contract with Fort Bend County for tax assessment and collections. They are our designated tax assessor. They also prepare and certify our truth in taxation calculations based on the information they get both from us and from the CAD. And then U.S. City Council will set the tax rate that's necessary to support the adopted budget within the guidelines for the no new revenue and the voter approval rate. This chart demonstrates that we still have, this is based on the 2023 tax rate, we still carry one of the lowest tax rates in the state, and this is for cities over 100,000 in population. And then this chart shows our historical tax rate dating back to 1993. We were at 50 cents. That was when we had our first voter-approved election for the sales tax for property tax reduction in 1993 and 1995. So you can see we had some big drop-offs in the tax rate there as our sales taxes started getting collected. We continued to lower the tax rate until the 2007-2008 timeframe. And that is when we began utilizing the homestead exemption, and that is the blue line that runs kind of in the upward trajectory on this chart. And so we bottomed out the tax rate at 30 cents for the 2008 tax rate, but at that same time we raised our homestead exemption from 1% to 5%, and we have continued to raise that over time, and we are now at 15%. That is currently capped at 20% by state law. So the certified tax roll that came in is a $1,542.1 million, 1.54210. There's a lot of numbers in there. Anyway, it's 1.5 billion net increase to the city, which is around 7.94%. I'm getting myself tongue-tied just talking about all these numbers, but yeah, I get too excited. You can see that the net residential grew by about 8.5%, net commercial grew by about 6%, and this is net of exemptions. This is comparing to the latest supplement from last year. And you can also see on this chart that our TERS values actually went down by about 7%. And that is going to be largely, it's actually on both the residential and commercial side, but mainly on the commercial side. And then you can see where this is the growth coming in. I'm sorry, that slide should not be in there. That was from last year. I apologize, that must have been hidden and I didn't see it. Okay, so this is our truth in taxation calculations. So our target revenue that we're looking at is 72.6 million. That is the number that we're trying to work back to in the no new revenue calculations. The adjusted taxable value for this year is 20.911 billion. And so with that, just the simplified math out of about 5 pages of calculations is 34.7218 cents per $100 of value. Now that is below our current tax rate of 35 cents. And so with that, we also get to calculate our voter approval rate, which is the 3.5% increase on the maintenance and operations component, and that is 35.6760. And as I said, we have a little bit of unused increment from prior years, and so that gets added in. It's a 0.6706 cents. And so our actual published voter approval rate will be 36.3466. So as Lauren mentioned in the previous item, we are recommending to go ahead and add in the remaining increase from the 2019 GO bonds. We have about 0.3 cents left out of the 3 cents total that we had said we needed to fund the 90 million in bonds that were approved by voters. So we are proposing to go to 35.3210 as the recommended tax rate. We would put that increase on the maintenance and operations component to help support the general fund operations. This chart I showed to you last Thursday, it illustrates that while we said we were going to have up to a 3 cent increase on the net tax rate for the 2019 GO bonds. Even with this 0.321 increase, the net impact is only 2.1 cents. And you can see how we've allocated out. Over the last 5 years, we have moved things around according to policy. It says, we're going to fund the 3.5% increase on the maintenance and operations component from within the tax rate where we can. And so then in 2023, we actually shifted back the other way to fund our debt component because we needed to decrease the maintenance and operations rate. So looking at it in the aggregate, we, even with this increase, won't have raised the full 3 cents that we had said back in 2019. So the average residential tax bill, we did see an 8.5% increase in our average home value, and this is the citywide average. So any individual homeowner is going to see a different change. This is just the average value for the whole city. And with the increase in the tax rate and the 15% homestead exemption, it works out to a $10.93 per month increase in the tax bill, or $131 per year. This is the top part of the notice that will be published. It does show the proposed tax rate, the no new revenue rate, and the voter approval rate that I showed you a moment ago. The bottom part of the notice is going to have a record vote, the record of tonight's vote, showing who voted which way as far as proceeding with the proposed tax rate. There's also some calculations at the bottom kind of showing you the increase in revenue and the impact on the average residential tax bill. So next steps, upon your approval tonight, we would have the notice of the proposed tax rate published in next week's newspaper, which will be August 28th. We are recommending that we set the public hearing for September 10th at 5:30 p.m. That is a special meeting for you, but that is because we have to adopt the tax rate within 7 days of that. And so your regular meeting schedule just doesn't work for that. Then we would schedule the vote to adopt the tax rate on September 17th after the budget is approved at 5:30 p.m. So there is motion language required in this. You are correct, Meredith. I knew I had it in the slide, I just couldn't remember. So there is a motion that would have to be on the ordinance to set the tax rate. That vote has to be a record vote. And the motion to adopt that ordinance has to be made in specific language. And so I have that language for you here on the slide. And it just says that I move property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.35321, which is effectively a 1.53% increase in the tax rate. And then you're going to set the public hearing on the tax rate for September 10th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. here at City Hall. And that is it. So I'm going to leave this language on the screen for you.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.35321, which is effectively a 1.53% increase in the tax rate. And I authorize staff to set a public hearing on September the 10th, 2024, at 5:30 p.m. at Sugar Land City Hall, 2700 Town Center Boulevard. That's the motion. Got a second by Jacobs. I know who he is. Any questions? And William?
I like asking the obvious because it's on the screen.
Yes.
But I just want to clarify, we're talking about a 1.53% increase in the tax rate.
Correct.
1.53%. All I wanted to ask. Thank you.
And since we've got to do a record vote, I'm just going to do the call. William? Aye. Jennifer? Suzanne? Aye. I'm 4. Stuart? Aye. Carol? Nishad? Aye. And it passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Item number 6, ordinances and resolutions. 6A, first consideration. Consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2347, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, granting a one-time variance from Chapter 5, Article 13, Section 5506 of the City of Sugar Land Code of Ordinances to allow for a one-time exemption from the noise regulations for non-baseball games, special events at Constellation Field. And, well, we have Miss Elizabeth Huff from Economic Development. I think she's going to introduce Allison Brooks, our tourism coordinator. Elizabeth.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As is customary, Allison Brooks is our tourism administrator, and I'm here to introduce her for her first presentation to Council. Don't give her too hard of a time. But she's a very proud UH graduate, so go Cougs, very in line with what we had earlier. She has over 10 years of experience in management of hotel and hospitality, and she currently oversees our Visit Sugar Land brand and the tourism efforts and marketing. So as you all know, we have a very large VSL following, and that they do a great job of working with all of our venues and helping promote these events. So I'm gonna let her take it from here.
Welcome, Allison.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Go Cougs. So as Elizabeth said, we are here. I also have our partner with Constellation Field, Director of Events, Eddie, as well, sitting over here. So we are here to discuss a proposed event upcoming at Constellation Field in October. It is a event called Lone Star Electric Vibes. It is an EDM festival, electric dance music. And it is a 12-hour festival that is being proposed by the producer. They would like to have the event from 12 p.m. and ending at 12 a.m. It is showcasing top talent in music and art. Typical EDM festivals of this nature usually last 2 to 3 consecutive days and can also last up to 15 plus hours per day. However, this festival is being just a one-day event for this specific event. The limitation for the current noise ordinance is that non-baseball games at Constellation Field on Fridays and Saturdays do not go past 11 p.m. So what we are recommending in collaboration with Constellation Field and the producer is a one-time exemption to the current noise ordinance. They would like to end the event at 12 midnight for this specific event. We have the regulations in place for the decibel reading, so those limitations will still be in place. They won't be able to exceed the decibels set forth in that ordinance. They are just simply requesting an extra hour to fit some extra entertainment into their event. As I said, typical EDM festivals do last consecutive days, oftentimes more than 15 hours a day, so attempting to aim all of the performances into one day. Like I said, we are trying to accommodate some additional performances, and based on the success of the festival, the producer does aim to make it a multi-year event, growing within each year throughout the city and coming back the following years. Sorry, I forgot to do my point, but are there any questions?
William?
Yes.
Mayor, I'm full of questions tonight. I don't stay up late and listen to music late, so I do get a lot of complaints from people when there are concerts that are late. I am not familiar with the impact residentially this would have with the community. Me personally, I am not fond of changing it till 12 for it to be loud, but my question is, do we lose it if we don't go to 12? Or do we still have the event if it has to end at 11? Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. I think that's something that we can discuss with the producer if this is kind of a make or break deal. If you're asking, will they continue with the festival if we don't grant this exemption? I don't have the answer to that currently, but I know that we would do our best to inform the community ahead of time. We will work with our community engagement department to put out some messaging so that people are aware ahead of time, and then prepare our 311 department with FAQ sheets in case we get calls from residents about any concerns, that we can be prepared to handle them internally.
Very good, thank you.
Suzanne?
I did have that question, but you just answered it. I want to make sure my constituents at Imperial and around there are aware of it, because I'd rather them call 311 or be aware of it than call me, which I don't mind their calls. I just want them to be well aware of what's going on, so that I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So we do require them to do some community outreach through our event permitting process as well.
Nisha?
Yeah, I was hoping to get more information about what ECM is and where they've done these events in the past. And has there been any issues with an ECM event? I'm not sure. I want to make sure that the public is safe. I know our PD and the different departments are going to go through all the checks and balances, but has there been any history of them having issues anywhere else?
For the specific EDM festival.
EDM, sorry.
That's okay. Not that I'm aware of. I know that we do have parameters outlined in our special event permitting process to ensure the safety of the attendees, and making sure that they have all the proper permits, proper emergency management procedures in place. So we would make sure that they were adhering to all of those.
Stuart?
I'm going to make a motion to approve this thing.
Got a motion by Jacobson, a second by Watley. I do have one question, Allison.
Yes, Mayor.
So who's the target audience? What's the age range of the target audience for this kind of an event?
The target audience is the young adults. There is, Eddie might be able to elaborate a little bit more on it in talks with the producer, but young adults is the current age range.
I think the producer's out in the audience, because I know they're laughing there.
I know, I thought I heard something, that's why I was turning around.
So, okay, so a younger crowd, is there going to be proper,
Young adults.
sure there's going to be security, correct?
Yes, like as I said, through the special event permitting process with the city, we do have certain officer requirements on our side and security parameters that they would
Yeah, you can. He's public. Yeah, he's.
Whenever you're ready, Mayor.
All right, what do we got? Get everybody? All right, we're going to go ahead and reconvene. Let me read the item again since we've all forgotten it. Item number B, first consideration. Consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2349. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 1, Section 211 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Sugar Land, Texas, by increasing the city manager purchasing authority from $50,000 to $100,000 for purchases of services, goods, and materials. And we've got Jason Oskowski, our purchasing manager. Jason.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. So Ordinance 2349 is a proposed change to Section 2-11A3 of the Code of Ordinances. They would increase the city manager's authority to approve contracts for services, goods, and materials up to and including $100,000. So I wanted to give a timeline of some of the authority changes. So in September of 2007, state legislature changed the competitive bidding requirements from $25,000 to $50,000. November 3rd, 2009, City Council approved Ordinance 1758, which amended the city manager's authority from $25,000 up to and including $50,000. That particular ordinance also included a sunset provision, which required to revisit that authority within 3 years. And if that authority was not revisited, then it would just revert back to what it was before. So December 4th, 2012, Council approved Ordinance 1878, which removed the sunset provision and assures that city manager's authority level remained for expenditures up to and including $50,000, which is where we are today. In August 1st, 2024 of this year, we met with the Finance Audit Committee to propose this ordinance change. Something else that I want to add that's not on this slide is in the previous state legislative session, there was a proposed bill, which was House Bill 1132, which was going to move from a $50,000 competitive procurement requirement up to $100,000 as the competitive procurement requirement. That did not make it out of committee, but we do anticipate that to come forward again in the next legislative session. So here's really what it's going to boil down to. So currently, all contracts, purchases of goods, things like that, over $50,000 come before City Council for approval. This can be contracts for, routine operation and maintenance items. It could be for IT equipment. We saw some of those items tonight on the consent agenda. What we are proposing is now moving that to over $100,000, which would correlate to the city manager's authority also changing up to and including $100,000, which it's currently at the up to and including $50,000. There are no changes to the competitive procurement requirement. That has not changed in state legislation. So all procurements over $50,000 must still go through a competitive procurement requirement. So that's either going to be a competitive bid, competitive sealed proposals, could be requests for qualifications, cooperative contracts, things of that nature. So that has not changed. That requirement still remains in effect with this proposed change. And the same with the change order approval authority. That also has not changed. That is set in the law as well. So change orders in excess of $50,000 still require City Council approval. That is not changing. So all we're talking about is just the purchases of goods and services over $50,000 up to and including $100,000. Here's a listing of several other cities who have already adopted these changes. These are cities that are comparable in size to the city of Sugar Land. Some are a little very similar size, some are a little bit bigger in population, but these are some of the cities that we look to benchmark to see what are the best practices out there, because we want to make sure that what we are proposing is in line with what other cities have been doing. And we have seen that these cities have already transitioned from that $50,000 to that $100,000 threshold, irregardless of what the state legislation does. So ultimately, here's what an increase to the city manager's purchasing authority is going to do. It's going to increase the city's responsiveness and efficiency. City is going to be able to shorten the time frame from procurement process to out in the community, whatever that is. So we're going to reduce the time frame that it takes to actually award a contract, get the contract implemented and out to serve our community. We do think that making repairs faster, purchasing new equipment sooner is really going to be impactful to the service delivery for our residents, which ultimately, that's really what we're looking to do, is we're looking to see how can we achieve some of those efficiencies, still maintaining the same procurement integrity, the same controls, the same methods of how we procure it, but getting it out to our community faster. The proposed change would also reduce the number of items that would require City Council approval by about 30% each fiscal year. This equates to about 58 items each year. Of course, that can go up and down just depending on what's being procured, but over the last 4 fiscal years, that is what the running average is. So it's about 30%, it's about 58 items. This result is also going to show a 3.75% increase of the total purchase awards. So this is all contracts, all purchase orders for each fiscal year. This is equivalent to $4.42 million per year, which seems like a big number, but when you look at that number in comparison to the sum total of all the contracts that go through the city, whether it's for smaller purchases, larger purchases, things like that, it's actually a very small percentage. What it's ultimately going to do is change the city manager's authority to from 16.3 18%, which is kind of what it is now amongst all awards, to roughly 20%. And that's going to show on the next slide, so you can kind of see what we're actually talking about as far as what that net change is. It's also going to position the city well for future legislative changes. We do anticipate that in the next legislative session, hopefully, they will propose the change to the competitive procurement requirement again, and hopefully that'll pass this time. There's a lot of support for it. It just ran out of time, but we believe that this will position the city very well for if and when that does come forward. It's going to be a very smooth and seamless transition for the city. And then, of course, we're going to continue to maintain the purchasing controls. Nothing is changing as far as how we're procuring things. The same processes that are in place today would be the same processes that are going to be in place if we move it to a $100,000 authority. Still going to go through the same competitive procurement process, still going to have the same checks and balances. There's always going to be that type of control in there to make sure that we're procuring things correctly, we're doing it accurately, and then we're also making sure that we're following all of the correct processes. So here is a representation of what this net change actually looks like. So the blue area is the current city manager approval authority. The yellow is the proposed city manager authority increase, and then the green is going to be the revised city council approval authority. Now, one way to look at this is that if you put the green and yellow together, that's what city council's current authority is. So all we're really looking at is that small yellow area that's going to be the net change that we're talking about. Like I said, it varies from year to year, but over the course of 4 fiscal years, it roughly is $4.42 million. So the next steps is there's going to be a second reading of ordinance 2349 at the city council meeting on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. And then hopefully shortly thereafter, we're going to go into implementation of those changes in September of 2024 and be ready to hit the ground running.
Stuart, I think you had a question. Anyone else?
Well, Mayor, the Finance and Audit Committee questioned Jason mercilessly at the last meeting. And one of the things we found most persuasive was that in 2007, 17 years ago, council entrusted the city manager with $50,000. If you think about the cost of living and such, over the last 17 years, entrusting the city manager with $100,000 is probably not as much leeway as we gave him 17 years ago. So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Jacobson. Do I have a second? A second by Lane. We'll go ahead and with questions. William?
Sir, also like Councilman Jacobson, I was at the original meeting with you. I am one that absolutely believes in competitive bidding, absolutely. Now, I don't want to slow down the essentials, the necessities for a process that is unnecessary. Your excitement, and maybe the excitement of others, makes me wonder why this little yellow bar is so exciting to, correct me if I'm wrong, end or restrict competitive bidding. Further, I may be missing something, and please help me understand why anyone is excited about that unless the essentials are somehow being delayed.
The way I look at it is really the competitive process is not changing. So whether it's at 50,000 or moves to 100,000, we're still going to follow the same competitive process. I think where the value is here is that we're going to shorten the time frame from going through the competitive process to award to implementation. So one of the things that happens is that there's a time that requires taking something to council, whether it's several weeks or longer. So the idea here is really just to try to shorten up that time frame, still maintaining all the same controls, but basically being able to be more responsive to to our community in a faster way. Again, still making sure that we're following all the processes.
Follow.
Again, the excitement over the little yellow bar is what's puzzling me. I would get it if all services or a majority of services were being delayed, essential services, by a process. But I can't get my mind around why we're so excited about essentially not bringing these items before council, correct me if I'm wrong, from $50,000 to $100,000. While we're waiting for the state to maybe make that decision, we're going to do ahead of that. And I'm sorry, because this is the second time I've heard it, but I absolutely love competitive bidding. So I'm thinking I'm missing something here. Please help me.
Sure. So I will say is the competitive bidding requirement is not changing today. So the same process is going to be in place for over 50 as it would be for over $100,000. That's going to be the same process. So we're not changing that competitive nature of anything. So ultimately, vendors are still going to have to compete just like they do now. That's going to be something that we're going to continue to follow because that is in the law. Obviously, we support if they do, if the legislature does change that and moves it up to 100,000. But currently, we're going to continue to support the full procurement process. So I think the excitement comes because it's a change, and it's a change in the right direction. It's the city taking a step forward and trying to do something that recognizes there is a way to achieve some savings. Even if it's time or staff time, there is savings there that the city can achieve by still following all of the same processes, the same procurement requirements, things like that, but being able to shorten the time frame from basically the competitive procurement process to contract award to implementation.
Let me see if I can clear it up, because I think we're getting all hung up. So what you're really talking about is sole source. All that's on the table right now, competitive bidding, everything remains the same. The only thing that changes is the fact that the city manager now can actually execute the contract based on his authority, as opposed to putting it on the council agenda and us voting on it. But the competitive bidding, and I can speak to the Texas Engineering Practices Act, you can't base it on price anyway. It's based on qualifications. So all we're doing is shortening the time frame under which call it the notice to proceed, gets put out to the public and the work gets done. But it doesn't remove the sole source. The sole source statute, I'm going to call it, is still the same. I mean, you have to prove that there's no one else that can provide that service or product of a similar quality, service, and price. I mean, that still stands. I think that's what you're getting hung up on, a sole source. That's not what we're talking about here.
If I may respond to that.
Sure.
I want to make it clear to our team and our city manager. I currently absolutely trust our team and our city manager. I don't want you guys to hear that at all. What I'm clarifying is from $50,000 to $100,000, we are simply removing the need for it to go to city council. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
I've got a motion by Jacobson, a second by Lane. Any other questions? Hand vote, if you vote this time, right hand. Okay, we've got 6, William opposed? Okay, it's a 6-1 vote and it passes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason. Item number 7, appointments. 7A, consideration of an action on the appointment of Mark Winters, Jalen Baker, Sam Asthana, and Eric Estrada to the Music Advisory Board. Ms. Shay Davis, our Civic Arts Manager, and Shay, I think you have some guests in the audience, and they've kind of sat through an entire council meeting. How'd you like that? Wasn't that fun?
It's the first one.
Yeah.
So today I bring for consideration of action of the appointment of Mark Winters, Jalen Baker, Sam Asana, Eric Estrada to the Music Advisory Board. So As a reminder, our board makeup is minimum of 5 people, but no more than 9 members. 1 member must be a City representative, which is Ebony McFarland. She's here as well. Board members must have knowledge of music industry and show active involvement in local music community. And the members will serve 2 years term, not to exceed 3 full terms. So today, we have Eric Estrada, if he can stand up for me. He's a talent booker, an event curator, and a director of So Far Houston. Eric is an expert at finding talent and creating music events in unusual locations. Eric's specialty can assist Sugar Land in using more of the city's unique music venues and cultivating a larger industry database. Yes, welcome, Eric. And he has his family here with him as well. Secondly, we have Mark Winters. He's a well-known musician within the city of Sugar Land who performs in multiple venues throughout the state. Mark, thank you for being here. Ebony McFarland is our city board representative. She is currently an employee of Sugar Land Civic Arts Coordinator, and she has over 20 years in the art space, working in a variety of mediums. Ebony McFarland. So we had 2 people who couldn't make it today. Sam Asana, he's a dentist and he had appointments, but he's a community advocate and a classical musician. And then Jalen Baker, he's an international touring jazz musician and he is on tour. So, but he will also be here to be sworn in at a later date. So these are our recommended appointees for our inaugural music board in the city of Sugar Land. Do I have them?
Good. Got a motion by Kermali. Do I have a second? Got a second by McCutcheon. William, you're too slow. Hand vote. All in favor? It's 7-0. Thank you, council members.
Awesome. Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you for volunteering. Sorry you had to sit through all that. Item number 7B, consideration of an action on the appointment of Linda Mendenhall as the city clerk, and we have Ms. Meredith Reedy, our city attorney. Meredith.
Thank you, Mayor. As you may all know, our previous city secretary had resigned back in February. We conducted a nationwide search, had over 65 qualified applicants. Working through the recruiter, we narrowed it down. We did 8 interviews, then we had 2 in-person interviews, 1 internal and 1 external. I am pleased to present to you the new city clerk for the city of Sugar Land, Miss Linda Mendenhall. She comes to us from Arizona. She's got over 12 years experience as a municipal clerk. She's certified both through Arizona and through the National Clerk Association. She's got quite a bit of experience. We're excited for her to be joining our team. Section 4.2 of the charter requires the city council to consent to the city manager's selection of city clerk. So this item here this evening is requesting your consent to her, Miss Mendenhall's appointment.
Okay. Welcome.
Would you like to say a few words?
Should I wait for my appointment?
It's up to you.
So moved. Okay, we've got a motion by Kermali, and we got a second by Watley. Linda, before we do it, anything that you'd like to say? Council members, anything that you'd like to ask of Linda? Anything on your end? Okay, we got a motion by Kermali, second by Watley. Vote this time, please. It's 7-0.
Now I'll speak.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to this. I am passionate about being in the clerk's world. I love it. I love elections. I love council meetings, and I am real excited about working with my team. They're wonderful. I already think they're the greatest, and so us together, we're going to be even better and stronger, and I look forward to working with council, my boss Meredith, our town city manager Mike, and getting to know the residents of this beautiful and charming community and serving you. And I look forward to this.
Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
There is, actually, coming down.
Yes, sir.
Many of y'all know that Miss Ashley Newsom has stood in place of our city secretary, and she's done an extraordinary job. I mean, we've had elections. We've had friends that have come to visit us that we may or may not have wanted, and she's gotten us through all that. So we have a special recognition for her tonight. Meredith, if you join us down here. Ashley doesn't like to be in front of people, so we didn't tell her that this was going to be. So we have the Employee Achievement Award. Ashley Newsom has consistently demonstrated an inclusive leadership style, fostering a collaborative environment where all team members' contributions are valued and integral to the team's success. Ashley's tireless pursuit of perfection drives her to continuously seek improvement, ensuring that goals are not only met but exceeded. She is both goal-oriented and a true team player. You couldn't have been more of a team player than to assume something in the middle of not, we just kind of threw her out there and said, man, it's yours, you own it, you go. And she got it done. Meredith, I think, an extraordinary job. And through her dedication and hard work, achieved outstanding results. Her sharp insight, unwavering integrity, and quick decision-making in the face of challenges are a true reflection of her character and the significant influence she has had on everyone around her. And this is given by my hand as the mayor of the city of Sugar Land. And it's also signed by your city attorney, Meredith Reedy. Ashley, congratulations. And Ashley, if you come stand over here. Councilmembers, y'all come down. There, come on. Linda. Councilmembers, y'all get behind. Here, y'all step go for it. There we go. Come on, Mike. Where we can see you. Right here.
I think she's
Ashley. All right, we're going to move on now to item number 7. Nope, we're going to move on now to item number 8. Contracts and agreements. 8A, consideration of an action on authorization of an interlocal agreement with Fort Bend County for construction of the Soldiers Field Drive Extension and First Colony Boulevard Roundabout Project, CIP CST 1901. We have Hoy Tan, our Senior Engineering Manager. Hoy, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, and Council members. I'm here to present you the interlocal agreement for the Fort Bend County with City of Sugar Land for the roundabout at Soldiers Field Extension and First Colony Boulevard. So in November 2023, the Fort Bend voter approved a mobility bond to fund roadway improvement, traffic safety improvement, rehabilitation, existing project, and partnership with the city, state, and local entities. One of the project on the mobility bond is the CST 1901 with the Soldiers Field Drive Extension and First Colony Boulevard roundabout. It was approved by the City Council on August 6, 2024 in the amount of $3.18 million. So the county application in the ILA is Fort Bend County gonna agree to pay about 50% of the construction cost up to $1.8 million. And it's gonna pay the city within 30 days of request. So since the construction cost is $3.18 million, half of that is 1.6 roughly. So it's less than $1.8 million. So the remaining fund, the county will put it into a reserve to fund all the city mobility bond or shift the access fund to another project in the city upon agreement by both parties. The city obligation is to manage the construction since it's within the city, and we need to submit the progress report to the county on the updates, furnishing all the accounting fund expend upon completion, and furnish all the electric copies and record drawings to the county. Request for approval, staff recommends the approval of the interlocal agreement with Fort Bend County in the amount up to $1.8 million for the construction of Soldiers Field Extension and First Colony Boulevard Roundabout Project, CIP CST 1901. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Any questions? Do I have a motion? Got a motion by Jacobson. Do I have a second? Got a second by McCutcheon. And vote, please. All in favor? Okay, we've got, it's a 6-0 vote with Gramali, no. Okay, and it passes. Thank you, Roy. Item number 9, City Council City Manager reports. 9A, City Council Member reports. Suzanne, Mayor Pro Tem, let's start with you.
Okay, I was going to go last, remember? Okay, I'll go first.
That's why you're going first.
I know, that's why I go. So I'm going to go with a couple that I think we all went to a lot of things. I'll start with the HOA Covington Woods. Thank you guys for having us. William and I went to that on August the 12th. And I want to thank staff. At the last moment, staff showed up and really did a great presentation on some of the things that we asked them to come out there for. And I think we gave them like 4 hours, 5 hours notice. So thank you, staff. Jennifer May, our assistant city manager, for showing up and helping us. William, you did a great job speaking to them. Covington Woods, we love you. And we also had the Precinct 3 open house in District 1. So Precinct 3, welcome to District 1. This is over at Imperial, and this is the annex for Fort Bend County. So you guys you don't have to drive anymore. You can go over there and get your driver's license done, marriage license, a lot of things over there that you can. I think you cannot do plats, but aside from that, you can go over there and get a lot done. So come over to District 1 and take care of your Precinct 3 Fort Bend County work. That's it for me.
Jennifer.
Well, Mayor, you and I attended a Space Cowboys game with some city employees. It was a lot of fun.
Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor.
William, you thought I was coming to you, didn't you? I fooled you.
I attended a ribbon cutting of a new sidewalk on Imperial Boulevard that connects Constellation Field and Tell Yard Brewery, which is really important so that people who are having too good of a time won't have to walk in the street and get run over.
William.
I don't know if I'm ready yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, we can move on.
No, I do want to thank the staff, and Suzanne's already covered it regarding the Covington Woods. Your presentations are so thorough and so good. You really make the whole process of communicating with our community so much better. I also got to attend the Cirque du Soleil at Smart Financial. That was interesting. I'm still trying to figure out what I saw that day, but that's all, sir.
Carol.
The BAPS Mandir celebrated the grand opening of its new cultural center and its 20th anniversary, and I attended one of its grand opening events. And I also attended the India Culture Center celebration of India's 78th Independence Day. And William and I attended the inauguration of the Statue of Union at the Sri Ashkalakshmi Temple. And the statue is 90 feet tall, which makes it the third tallest statue in the United States. And it represents benevolence, strength, and hope. So I got to break out my saris. And then just one additional comment, Chip Sutton recently passed away, and I just wanted to acknowledge his 15 years of service on the Sugar Land Cultural Arts Foundation Board.
Thank you, Carol. LaShawn.
Mayor, you and I attended toured actually a building coming in Telfair called Modisoft. You see a big glass building off of 59 and University. It's going to be a 40,000 square foot campus of a convenience store owner turned into an entrepreneur. Now his software's all over the United States being used in most of the convenience stores that you and I probably go to. So congratulations to the entire Modisoft team for that, and we look forward to them opening March of next year is what they're talking about opening. And then, Mayor, you and I also attended BAPS Cultural Center, which was on a different day than Carol. We were there on a Friday night to see their beautiful cultural center off of Brand Lane, not in the city of Sugar Land, but a lot of residents do go there. And then this past Sunday, on my 35th birthday, not my 53rd, I was at a ribbon cutting ceremony of IFA, Indian Food Hall. It's not in the city of Sugar Land, but it has a Sugar Land address off of West Belford and 59. Congratulations to the Serrani family and best of luck. That's it.
Thanks, LaShawn. I want to take a minute and recognize Chip Sutton. Many of you knew Chip, his wife Cindy, their family. They did a lot of work, not only in Sugar Land on the Cultural Arts Foundation Board, but in the Chamber and others. He was with Lineberger. He passed away way too early. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Cindy, his son and their daughter, and his son's fiance. I'd like to ask just a moment of silence to keep that family in prayer. Just a moment. Move on to item number B, City Manager Report, Mike.
Thanks, Mayor. The city is launching the Brew City Kickoff Event Series, actually this Thursday, 6 p.m., Brazos River Park, the Bikes and Brews event. There'll be beer, there'll be bike vendors, complimentary beer, which is why I will be there. This week I attended, I think with most of the council, the 4th annual Sugar Land Department Appreciation Lunch, and that was a great chance to show our first responders appreciation. Also had a chance to spend a couple hours at the Texas State Technical College with a couple state reps and actually the Speaker of the House, and went through their programs, which was very helpful, and then had the Talyard soft opening event where that's going to be a special place for this community, and their beer was exceptional. That's it, Mayor.
They got beer there too, Mike.
They do. I tried them all. Thank you.
Sidewalks.
Carol McCutcheon. We're going to adjourn at 7:30 on the dot. Thank you, council members.